In its quest to provide an open forum for discussion of controversial issues, this station allows hosts and their guests to express themselves without any significant censorship. You're advised that any views expressed by the hosts or their guests are not necessarily the views of Togi Entertainment or its partners.
Motherhood Incorporated proudly presents Military Mom Talk Radio live on TogiNet.com. Co-hosted by Robin Boyd and Sandra Beck, the owner of Motherhood Incorporated. Military Mom Talk Radio is here with a powerful platform for women to discuss their ideas, issues, and concerns with respect to the military lifestyle. Military Mom Talk Radio encourages you to share your experiences of being a military wife and mother. This show is dedicated to educating your family about the many reasons that are available in both the public and private sector, and we'll be sharing helpful information from women all over the world. We'll cover everything military, from helping a family member cope with post-traumatic stress disorder, to navigating government programs dealing with family issues, to the struggles of deployment, along with being a working mother both in and out of the home. This is Military Mom Talk Radio, and here are your hosts, Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd.
Hey, military moms, this is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with Robin Boyd, and we've got a great show today. Today we are going to lead in our topics with respect to the parents of our service members. Now, many weeks we talk about what things are available for service members, what programs and benefits and different things that there are out there. We bring on specialists, but today we're going to take it from a different slant, because one of the things that I noticed, I got a letter from a listener who talked about, now she is 36. She had her son when she was 18. She has an 18-year-old serving in the military. And she said, with all due respect, I'm a grown-up and I raised my son, but I haven't walked this earth for 55 years. I don't have family, that served in the past, Vietnam veterans and things. And she's like, I am completely blind with this stuff. And she's like, I bet a lot of parents are. And of course, I directed her over to PODS to join Marcella Stretch's group.
Sure.
But I thought about that, like how difficult it's got to be for our parents. I'm from a military family. Rob, you have a lot of military in your family. So there's a lot of discussion of, oh, well, when I served, or I was here, or when I was deployed, or when I PCS moved. Those are all topics that are really familiar to us, but for a lot of people out there that are new to the military, especially our parents, they don't know how to advocate for their kids. They don't know what resources are out there. So we're going to talk today to the parents of our service members.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And I think so many times it is true, San. We have resources in other areas, but what better than experience? And I think this is one of the beauties of some of the networking that we all do is to be able to say, okay, yes, I know where you're coming from. Let me give you this advice or that advice. I mean, when we're brand new mothers, and if you haven't had babies in your arms, you may not know about the tickling of toes and I to this day remember when my son was first born. I didn't have babies in my life when I was first married. I just never did when I was a kid. I didn't babysit infants. So when we had an infant, I wasn't sure what to do with them.
Oh my God, Rob, when I brought Max home, and here I was 35. I wasn't exactly a new mother, a young mother. And I was driving home from the hospital, and he was, he had been born 2 months premature, so he was really tiny. Had to wedge towels in the in the car seat. And I went over the train tracks, and I go over the train tracks, whatever California says, 15 miles an hour. Yeah. Well, the whole car bounced, and I was like, oh my God, I look in the back seat, and I'm like, he's dead already. I know it. Haven't even got him home from the hospital, broke him in half.
Oh, of course he was. Yeah, this is one of the greatest things that networking can do. And thank goodness we have this medium. This is just between groups online or groups on radio or whatever opportunities we have. I think that it's marvelous.
It is. It is. I mean, we get to share a lot of information. And I think, honestly, it's like, between PODS and Fort Sill Army Wives and MOS, which is Moms of Soldiers, there's so many great groups out there. Even if you just try Facebook, like just a good place to start to find some of these groups, because that's where we're getting all this information for great shows. Instead of you and I sitting here going, well, who can we contact or who's contacting us? We're getting, kind of straight from the horse's mouth. This is what families want. And we got, a request from a listener that said, look, I'm a mom. I'm not, from a military family. I'm new to this. So how do I go? And, we go and teach them about Facebook, and then we bring some experts on like Debbie Gregory. And Debbie Gregory is the owner and operator of militaryconnection.com. If you haven't heard about that, you need to check it out. She's going to talk about how that can benefit the parents of military service members, and the military parents might even be veterans. We don't know. And that brings us into Debbie's philanthropic arm of her business, which is VAMBOA, which is veterans?
Oh, gosh. Now I've got to pull it up. I've got something else on my screen. We'll have Debbie give us the acronym.
Association of Child.
Veterans and business owners and military business owners, I think. We better not say it wrong. We better wait until we have it right.
But VAMBOA, it's a veteran association, which all service members should be aware of, so they know what's available to them and what's out there. And then we're going to bring on Linda Jefferson, which we haven't had her on in at least a year. It's got to be at least a year.
Oh, at least.
Yeah, because I think it was Liz Moore out in Fort Eustis that talked to us last about PCS moves. And Linda Jefferson comes from us from Fort Sill in Oklahoma, and she is like a family veteran, 3 generations strong for the Army. And she's going to talk to us about PCS moves in her company, which is GoArmyHomes, which helps people move from base to base. Oh, here we go. Debbie just said.
Yeah, I know. I just pulled it up too.
Veteran and Military Business Owners Association, VAMBOA, and it's VAMBOA.org. So she's going to talk to us about that today. And you know what? She got more airplay than she would if I had gotten it right. So.
Well, so many times acronyms make sense. It's just you got to make sure you get the letters in the right order. That's all.
NACRA, the first show out of the blocks. We weren't even on the air a day, and we get NACRA. Remember with Ollie?
Oh, my word. I know. And I still, to this day, had to read it 2 times before I ever even tried to quote it. Yeah. That one, the DODEA, I kept thinking, DODEA. Yeah, because so many times in the military, we don't even just spell out the acronym. We come up with a little paraphrase of it, so it's DODEA.
DODEA. I don't even remember what that is. Department of Defense Education.
Education, yeah. It was the education arm. So, oh my goodness, that was, and I think twice I said it wrong, and I felt so badly. But nonetheless, they do an amazing job, so we're appreciative of them.
Well, and I think, we look at all these great books coming out to support the military family, and we have the Directory of Military Installations. I have that green, ugly Army green book, and I actually have one of the Army cookbooks that they use to make the food. Somebody needs to write a dictionary of military terms because there's just so many acronyms.
Oh, I know. And everything has to be that little acronym phrase. Nothing is just the whole thing spelled out.
Right. So we're going to talk about, what was yesterday? You said National Aviation Day.
It was Aviation Day, if you didn't know it. It is Aviation Day. It was established in 1939 by Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who issued a presidential proclamation for Orville Wright's birthday. So I thought that was kind of neat. On Aviation Day, we should all go take a plane ride.
That's right. But who gets to name a day? Like, I remember when I was living in Michigan and working for the Kalamazoo Gazette, I had to write an article on, they first asked me for an article on National Cherry Month, because, February is National Cherry Month. And then they're like, February is also National Black History Month. And I'm like, who gets to name these things?
Oh, I know. I guess the president, in his all amazing power, gets to name those things. Sam, there was something else we wanted to make sure we took time to recognize. We at Military Mom Talk Radio appreciate the opportunity to connect with every one of our listeners. We delight in sharing everyone's joys, but we also deeply feel the heartache when a family suffers that which every family in service prays never to face. We've learned that United States Army Private First Class Michael DeMarsico of North Adams, Massachusetts, who was deployed to Afghanistan in February, was killed this past Thursday. DeMarsico was due to complete his first tour of duty in December that same month when he would celebrate his 21st birthday. He was killed by an enemy improvised explosive device. A 2010 graduate of Drury High School, DeMarsico was serving with the 11th Bravo Infantry Division of the U.S. Army at the time of his death. He enlisted in the Army after graduation, fulfilling a lifelong dream, according to his family and friends. Family members said ever since Michael was a little boy, he wanted to be in the Army. He was always playing with little toy soldiers and trucks. He wanted to be in the infantry. Drury High School Principal Amy Meehan described DeMarsico as a very talented young man who excelled in the areas of technology and engineering and knew he was passionate about joining the Army. On Sunday evening, the high school parking lot was filled with classmates and townspeople to hold a candlelight tribute to Michael. Michael's mother, Lisa, has been a listener of Military Mom Talk Radio and contributed to a recent show as a member of the Parents of Deployed Service Members Facebook group. The group's founder, Marcella Stretch, shared a beautiful reminder with us, that which I'd like to share with you now. The American soldier does not fight because he hates who is in front of him. He fights because he loves who is behind him. The family will hold a memorial service once they've been reunited with their son. We at Military Mom Talk Radio wish to express our deepest condolences to the DeMarsico family. While we know so many of our troops are returning home, we are reminded that there is still work that our brave heroes are being asked to do. We are keeping the DeMarsico family in our thoughts and in our prayers at this most difficult time. We'll be back after these messages.
Are you a military mom looking for help in dealing with the system? Keeping the home fires burning? Well, that's what we're here for. It's Military Mom Talk Radio with Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd. And we'll be right back after these.
Tune in to the Travel Chick Show with Bonnie Kitohata, Mondays at 4 p.m. Pacific here on the Rockstar Radio Network. Bonnie will share with you an hour of travel ideas, experiences, adventures, and tips from her guests. Topics range from local day trips to international excursions. From organized professional vacations to spur-of-the-moment getaways. For fun or business, groups or solo, by bus, car, plane, train, boat, bike, hike, or horse. You'll also hear about travel-related subjects like cultures, travel photography, keepsakes, and more. Whether you love to travel yourself or you enjoy seeing the world vicariously through others, join us and enjoy travel stories from around the U.S. and around the world. For more information on the Travel Chick Show, check out Bonnie's website, thetravelchick.com. Then join us for the show, The Travel Chick Show, live Mondays at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, with your host, Bonnie Kitohata, here on the Rockstar Radio Network. Fertility is an extremely personal subject. Tune in Monday nights at 9, 8 Central for the Fertility Forum with infertility psychotherapist and expert Phyllis Martin on TogiNet.com. This is the show about infertility, gaining support, and information. Phyllis will assist you in navigating the disappointments and decisions that often accompany the difficult journey from diagnosis to conception, pregnancy to parenthood. She is passionate about her work and is an expert in the donor egg field, bringing both her personal and professional experience to all she does. Ms. Martin has extensive experience in helping patients cope with infertility, pregnancy loss, adoption, surrogacy, miscarriage, pregnancy termination, and creative family building. She knows what you're going through, and she's here to help. It's the Fertility Forum with your host, Phyllis Martin, Monday nights at 9, 8 Central on TogiNet.com.
Put a boot in your ass, it's the American way. Hey, Uncle Sam, put your name at the top of his list, and the Statue of Liberty started shaking.
Welcome back to Military Mom Talk Radio on TogiNet.com. Covering topics to help on the home front with help from those who know how the system works and how to work the system. It's more fun than a sale at the BX. Now let's get back to it. It's Military Mom Talk Radio. Here again are your hosts, Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd.
Hey, military moms, this is Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd. And Robin, that was a beautiful, beautiful tribute. For those of you that missed it, you'll check us out on iTunes or go listen to the show on our website, militarymomtalkradio.com. I'm sorry, I'm all choked up, Rob. It's very, very hard when we have to say goodbye to one of our soldiers.
It is hard. It always touches every single one of us, and that's part of being Military Mom Talk Radio, because we are all moms in one way, shape, or form. So we're very saddened, and as I say, this was the least we could do to express our condolences.
Yes. For those of you that were wondering, that was America the Beautiful, performed by Zach Wilde. So we want to thank him for his contribution to that tribute. So now we're going to move on.
Oh, we might have dropped Sandra, unfortunately. Oh. Did we lose you, Sandra? Are you coming back?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Now we can.
There we go.
Just kind of cut out of the universe there for a second.
Yeah, well, I think God's given me a break because I'm sitting here with my Kleenex and I needed a second. Now I have it. So we are welcoming Debbie Gregory from Military Connection, and Military Connection is an outstanding web resource. It's huge. There's so much stuff on there. That's why we want to have Debbie Gregory come and talk about what resources are available for our soldiers and how their parents can help, because a lot of our soldiers, they're just young men and women coming home and they still need that guiding hand. We all do.
Yeah, absolutely. Debbie, are you with us?
I'm right here. Hi.
Hi, welcome.
Welcome. I just wanted to take a minute and salute all of the families of those who serve. You all serve. You all make sacrifices. And as a mom myself, I don't know how you do it. It's amazing to me. I'm here working remotely down at our beach place, and I ran into an amazing military family. The parents are here with their son and daughter-in-law. Both the son and daughter-in-law are in the U.S. Army. They have a 2-year-old son and this, grandson of the Army couple. And the Army couple, the husband is being deployed for the 5th time to Afghanistan.
5th time? Oh, my word.
And they're down here in Southern California. They're doing Legoland, and they're doing SeaWorld, and they're just an amazing family.
And this is what happens, is that this is the extended family so many times, because oftentimes grandparents are taking care of little ones because both parents are deployed. So we really do have large military families. We've said it over and over again. It's not just the troop who is serving. It's the whole family who is serving. Thank you, Debbie, for
right, you're all heroes, and when someone is deployed, it's the mothers and fathers and husbands and sisters and brothers that are, keeping the home fires going, so that person deployed can be gone and things, can still function. It's so hard on children of deployed soldiers. This little boy, Liam, is 2 years old, and his father's going on his 5th deployment. In his lifetime, I can only think how long his dad's been gone. And 1% of our men and women serve. So it's up to the rest of us to kind of pick up the slack. It's the least we can do.
Absolutely, absolutely. Debbie, when somebody comes to your site for the first time, who's a parent, and they may or may not be familiar with a lot of the Army terms, what I like about your site is it's really easy to navigate and it's easy to find things. What are some of the resources that are available on Military Connection to the military family for these parents listening today who may or may not be familiar with what's available for their son or daughter?
There's so much information. There's information about benefits. There's a directory, a huge directory called Helpful Links. And it's in each of the service directories, Army, Navy. And in Helpful Links, they will find almost every topic. Benefits, pay charts, resources, mental health resources. Also, we have everything. For instance, one of the things that we have on the site, Ted Patullo is the Deputy Director of Veteran Affairs for California. He used to be, and now he's a Veteran Service Officer, one of the most knowledgeable Veteran Service Officers on the planet. He writes a monthly column about benefits. We have benefits for active military, for when they become veterans, for everything from, for instance, let's say someone's going through PTSD and they don't want it on the record. There's groups that give free and private counseling. There's literally something for everybody. There's, of course, education. There's jobs. There's support groups. If you send an email, in fact, right now, just to kind of give you an example, we have a veteran. And one of the things I wanted to, put out there was employment. And it's very challenging for our veterans. We have a veteran, it's a woman veteran. She has a BA in business communications. She was an intern with the Mission Continues. She was a leadership position in Student Veterans of America in her particular chapter. She has an outstanding background, and she went on the David Letterman show and still has not found a job. And we just featured her in our newsletter. We've gotten a couple very interesting opportunities. But can you believe with that kind of exposure between the David Letterman show and our newsletter that we're not inundated? I mean, it is really hard out there.
Yep. It is really hard out there. We had Doris, remember, go down to the job fair at Camp Pendleton, and, what were they saying? Something like 100 applicants, to be considered each day for one position, and they were just so overwhelmed.
Oh, we've
seen
that.
And, we're getting a new resource in employment. We've just been approved for it from the government. We're going to have the military skills translator on the site where someone can put in, their military MOS and their skills and see what kind of civilian jobs it translates to.
Absolutely. We did a whole show on that, Debbie, a while back with Bob Corcoran of Corcoran Consulting, who's a national business coach. And he was talking about how hard it is for some of our servicemen and women who come back that don't think they have a great skill set. And he was talking about some of these different positions in the military and how they can translate great into civilian jobs. But how would you know? So to have a translator like that, just to make your resume would be such a helper to know what to apply for.
Absolutely. And also, there's a lot of options. I don't know if you're aware of it, but the Department of Labor and the Defense Department and the VA have just revamped the transition program. It's called Transition GPS. And they're extending the program. It's going to be 5 to 7 days. And, besides all the services about transition, financial services, everything, they're going to include education. They're going to include starting your own business as options. But generally speaking, I'm also here in California on the Governor's Interagency Council for Veterans, and I'm in the employment pod, and we're talking about transition, for veterans, because generally what happens is when somebody's coming home, they're not thinking about getting a job and going through transition. They're just focused on seeing their family. And oftentimes they come back and then they need those skills after the program. So we're trying to figure out ways of delivering it. And also, oftentimes the veteran will get a job, and maybe it doesn't last or it doesn't work out for any number of reasons. It could be PTSD, it could be the job market, the company lays off people, and then they need those skills. I kind of wanted to segue into Veteran and Military Business Owners Association. A lot of veterans may be very gifted at starting their own business and being entrepreneurs. And Military Connection, VAMBOA, and Entrepreneurs for Change are partnering to offer transition training, entrepreneurship training for future veteran business owners. And it's going to be a 1-week course. It's going to have everything. When they walk out of there, they're going to have their business plan. They're going to know about financing. They're going to know the basics of how to run a business.
Well, and that's kind of, Debbie, what I think about, like, your whole Military Connection site, how to. It's like, when I Google stuff, I'm doing research for the show, there's so much information online, but it's all scattered. It's all in a million places. I find myself clicking, like I'm, clicking down a map, and I keep going, and then I can't get back to where I was. And one of the things I like about your site is that a parent of a service member or the service member themselves could come to this one place and find where all this stuff is, because it's really overwhelming, and you really make it simple so that we can find out about the virtual job fairs. We can talk about the benefits. You can find out about loans that are available to you, or schooling, or scholarships, or jobs. I mean, just all those things are here in one place, and that's why we feature you again and again, because you do take that kind of like frustration, like it's like an avalanche. You Google it, all this information comes in, and then you don't know where to turn.
We try to cover all the bases, and it's not one size fits all. People have different needs and wants and abilities, and sometimes you try one thing and it isn't a good fit, so you need to try something else. But at the end of the day, our hope is that those that serve and their families are going, at the very least, to attain the American dream. They should be able to, own a home, make a good living, be happy. They've certainly sacrificed enough.
Debbie, we want to make sure that everyone knows to find you at www.militaryconnection.com. Again, you'll find all of these resources and then some, because this site is just exploding with more and more information all the time. So we want to make sure that everyone finds you there. And stay with us, Debbie, because on the other side of the break, we are going to be talking to you more about VAMBOA, the Veteran and Military Business Owners Association, VAMBOA.org. We will be back with Debbie Gregory right after these messages here on Military Mom Talk Radio.
Thank you.
Are you a military mom looking for help in dealing with the system? Keeping the home fires burning? Well, that's what we're here for. It's Military Mom Talk Radio with Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd. And we'll be right back after these.
Second chances. We all deserve them. And we are all worthy of them. Second Chances. With your host, Midge Noble. Thursdays at 8 p.m. Central on TogiNet is like coming home to warm, fresh-baked cookies, a hug from Grandma, or an enthusiastic greeting from your dog. Second Chances, hosted by Midge Noble, a licensed professional counselor, is affirming, warm, genuine, validating, and thought-provoking. Second Chances is a place to be heard, a place to laugh, a place to cry, and a place to be seen. For more on Midge and Second Chances, check out MidgeNobleSecondChances.com. Then be a part of a show that will change how you think, how you feel, and what you do. Give yourself the gift of second chances and see where it will take you. So take a deep breath, open your heart, open your mind, and join host Midge Noble for Second Chances. Thursdays at 8 p.m. Central on TogiNet.com. Believe in your fairy tale to make your zing come true.
I love it.
Debbie Glickman and Deanna Cohen know it. Join these soul sisters on TogiNet.com. Believe in your fairy tale to make your zing come true. Showcases two sides. One, to help entrepreneurs showcase their products and tell their story of their happily ever after. And two, to interview people who have realized their own fairy tale and doing something to benefit others. This show is here to help folks who have an idea and want to get it off the ground, as well as to inspire people to make the world a better place by doing something extraordinary or out of the box to help others. Both of these entrepreneurs have their own businesses and websites. With more information on their passions and successes, first for Debbie, fairytalewishesinc.com, and for Deanna, thenextbigzing.com. Believe in your fairy tale to make your zing come true with the Soul Sisters, Debbie Glickman and Deanna Cohen on TogiNet.com.
There ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Welcome back to Military Mom Talk Radio on TogiNet.com, covering topics to help on the home front with help from those who know how the system works and how to work the system. It's more fun than a sale at the BX. Now let's get back to it. It's Military Mom Talk Radio. Here again are your hosts, Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd.
Hi, Military Moms. This is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with Robin Boyd. And our guest today is Debbie Gregory of both Military Connection and VAMBOA, which is the Veteran and Military Business Owners Association. And we are talking on today's show specifically to parents of service members who want to assist their children in navigating the government benefits, navigating the moves that their children will make in their military career. But for the purposes of this segment, we're going to focus on the Veteran and Military Business Owners Association and what's available to our families. Debbie Gregory, why don't you open up the discussion?
Okay. Your son or daughter comes back from serving in the armed forces, and they are now a veteran. And they've earned benefits, and we find over and over that the benefits they've earned they're not cognizant of. So it's important to know those benefits. One of those benefits is education. And whether you're going to work for someone or start your own business, I strongly advocate educating yourself and learning as much as possible. And the post 9/11 GI Bill and the Veterans Retraining Assistance Programs offer some wonderful benefits, many of those also pay housing. In Southern California, in my zip code, the housing allowance is about $2,000 a month tax-free. So it's a great way to use that time to prepare yourself. And when you look at people today, and they have the choice of doing business with a veteran or a non-veteran, 9 times out of 10 they're going to want to do business and patronize a veteran business owner. And there's all kinds of opportunities. Requires a lot of hard work. I can tell you that personally from being a business owner. You wear a lot of hats. You put in a lot of hours. But at the end of the day, the buck stops with you, and it's your business. So just to give you a little bit of the statistics, there are, California has more veteran business owners than any other state in the union, and veterans hire veterans. So and the business owners, small businesses are the fuel of our nation's economy. They are responsible for more job creations than any large corporations. So generating and starting a new veteran business is a good way to help your country and the economy. We've got, you've got skills, discipline, hard work, carrying out a mission that are very transferable to starting your own business. So I think that, learning a little bit about what's involved, learning how to write a business plan, learning about financing, those are important skills. It doesn't matter what type of business it is. It could be a franchise. It could be you have an idea for an app. It could be any type of business. It doesn't matter what it is. And we're very proud to be joining forces with Entrepreneurs for Change. Not only will we be providing the training, but we will be assisting in getting micro loans so that veterans can establish credit. They get a small loan. they are able to pay it back and establish credit to get a larger loan.
That's exciting. Is there a sign-up process on VAMBOA? Is this an open directory, or do you become a member?
If they go to VAMBOA, they can register as a member. Membership is free, by the way. And there's all kinds of resources on the site. There's all kinds of contracting and conferences and latest, up-to-date information. What I wanted to say is I encourage veteran business owners or those interested in it to register or to send an email and say you're interested in the training. The training, by the way, is going to start in California. And it's much better in person for this kind of training. It's a 5-day course. But what we want to do is to be able to have the training virtually. So let's say you took the course, you've started a business, and you decide, you need to reinvent the business, or maybe what you were going to do, you're going to do something else, and you need a new business plan. And instead of, you took the course a year ago, and you forget about the right way to put together a business plan, you can go on your computer at 3 a.m. and you can take a refresher on doing that business plan. And everything has become virtual. In fact, we're looking at taking all of the resources that we offer and offering many of them virtually, so they're available 24/7 with explanations as time goes on. We're right now exploring different technology to see the best way to present that.
Wow. That's really exciting. And I think it's also so inspiring, because people who may have been a little timid to begin something that on an entrepreneurial level may have just been given the power to say, okay, I guess I'll try it, knowing that there's some support out there for them.
Right. There is support. And, another source of support is the Small Business Administration. They do a lot of training themselves. They have a lot of resources. They have something called the Patriot Express loans, which are loans for veterans. Another thing that those thinking of starting a business as a veteran, some people just focus on government contracting. And the government contracting is a big part. Veterans, and especially service-disabled veterans, get preference with governments. And governments have to allocate a certain amount of their business, and they have goals that they have to reach. And by the way, I want to congratulate California, CalVet, because they exceeded all of their goals this year in contracting with veteran business owners. But another aspect that a lot of people don't look at is the private sector. There's big corporations out there, and they all have government divisions, and they're selling a service or a product to the government, and they too have benchmarks, and they really want to do business with you. And many of them have what they call supplier diversity departments, where they're spending millions of dollars to connect with women, minorities, veterans, service-disabled veterans. And oftentimes, you'll find a veteran business owner or service-disabled veteran business owner that is a woman, meets all the criteria, which is pretty hard to do. But they want to do business with you, and I just kind of want to do a shout-out that those going into business shouldn't just focus on the government arena, but also the private sector as well.
Where we want to make sure that I notice you also have a blog on here. You have a tremendous amount of information everywhere, Debbie.
I love it. I've been on here.
It gets overwhelming at times, let me tell you. Sometimes I'm trying to find. I know something's on the site, and I'm trying to figure out how my mind worked 2 months ago to where I put it, where it would be most likely to be found, and I have to think about it. Because Military Connection has literally tens of thousands of pages and hundreds of directories and databases, and we're updating them, and it's just a lot of information. In fact, one of the things that I've been giving some thought to is launching a new site, a Veteran Connection, since so many people are coming home and they're veterans, and it's kind of a new benefits and new things that maybe it might be a good way to go. We haven't made the final decision on it, but it's certainly something we're considering.
How big a staff do you have, Debbie? You must. I can't imagine
Not as many as anybody would think, but we have. I have to say this: the people that work for Military Connection and VAMBOA are so dedicated. I have such a wonderful staff. If somebody calls up, to give you an example, lots of times we have people calling up thinking we're the government, and we try to take every call. And we try to help somebody and put them in the right direction. We're not the government, but we'll say, hey, try this, or here's a number, or let me look up and find your veteran service officer, whatever it is. And we're going to do that as long as we're able to. We use a lot of, virtual employees and companies. We have a company we've contracted with in Arizona for 6 years that does our marketing. We have writers that work from home. Our sites are hosted at Rackspace, so there's a lot that goes into it. But I'm just very fortunate to be working with wonderful people that not only are dedicated, but that it's a joy to be around. And I couldn't always say that, but I can say it now. And let me tell you guys something really exciting. Cal State Channel Islands has an intern program where different companies they provide interns, and it's funded. And we've been selected by them to receive an intern for about 4 months. And the intern, this is the best part of it, is a student veteran.
Wow.
Isn't that wonderful?
That's wonderful. Oh, that's so super.
So it couldn't be more fitting.
Perfect.
Aren't you opening something big up in October? Isn't that coming up too?
October. Well, we've got an initiative coming up. I don't know when it's going to come up. In September, we are up for a grant, Military Connection is, with Mission Small Business, and we qualified. A lot of people qualified, and we certainly hope we win. There's going to be 12 grants for $250,000. And we're hoping that we get one because not only will we be able to launch all the virtual training at that point, but we want to really go into high gear for the hiring of disabled veterans, wounded warriors, and spouses for remote jobs. And we will know something by the end of September on that and figure out how to adjust our own business plan if we do get that grant. There'll be 12 companies getting the grant, and you had to have so many people vote for you. Let's see, who else is on it? The U.S. Chamber. They have quite a prestigious board that decides. They had 5 essay questions, and I worked on them for months. And I hope I did a good job.
Debbie, I can't imagine how you fit everything in a day. You must have a 72-hour day. Debbie Gregory, thanks so much, ever so much, for militaryconnection.com as well as VAMBOA, VAMBOA.org. Thank you so much for your time and all you do for our veterans and our military families.
We're
going to be back in a moment with Linda Jefferson from GoArmyHomes, created to help your family with a very smooth PCS move. Back in a moment.
Keeping the home fires burning? Well, that's what we're here for. It's Military Mom Talk Radio with Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd. And we'll be right back after these.
I am not the woman I used to be. I'm free with Minister Diane Jones. Monday nights at 10, 9 Central on TogiNet. This is your chance, ladies, to hear stories of hope and healing from someone who's been there. Someone who has fought back from the horrors of incest. Minister Diane's innocence was stolen from her in the land of alcoholism and mental illness, which led to her being emotionally, physically, and sexually abused by her parents. Yet in spite of this trauma, she has gone on to become a successful wife, mother, registered nurse, and minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm not the woman I used to be. I'm Free is a straight-up show to enlighten you and to lighten your load. Do not let the weight of this world or the things that have happened to you control your life. For more on the show and Diane and her book, The Story of Me, email her directly from her show page here on TogiNet. Then, join us for I'm Not the Woman I Used to Be. I'm Free with Minister Diane Jones. Monday nights at 10, 9 Central on TogiNet.com.
Do you ever feel like you're the invisible woman? Too polite to be political, too nice to be real, tame even though you really want to be unleashed? Like you're living in a fairy tale without the happy ending? Well, Cinderella has left the ball, and it's time to wake up and break up with our own self-imposed glass slippers and ceilings. Welcome to Le Chic Speak, the polite woman's guide to self-expression, with your host, Jen Duchenne. Le Chic Speak is the Woohoo Radio Network's resident radio show dedicated to helping women turn on their power and turn up the volume of their voices so you can be seen, heard, appreciated, and celebrated. Join us on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time for your weekly dose of Le Chic Speak with your host, Jen Duchenne, only here on the Woohoo Radio Network.
Put a boot in your ass, it's the American way. Help the Sam put your name at the top of his list, and a statue of liberty started shaking.
Welcome back to Military Mom Talk Radio on TogiNet.com. Covering topics to help on the home front with help from those who know how the system works and how to work the system. It's more fun than a sale at the BX. Now let's get back to it. It's Military Mom Talk Radio. Here again are your hosts, Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd.
Hey, military moms, this is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with Robin Boyd, and we had a great couple segments with Debbie Gregory of VAMBOA.
We always have great segments with Debbie Gregory.
I just love it. You know why, Rob? Because I can just turn the mic over to her and just look out the window.
No, you don't look out the window. You pay attention to every word she says.
It's just she's just so good to listen to because she knows so much. I mean, and her sites are full of so much. I just know that, we're not going to have dead air or tough conversation. In fact, it's the hard part is fitting everything in.
Oh, I know. And every single time we've had her on, she's had something new and wonderful to share with us. So, Debbie, you're wonderful. Thank you.
She is. And we got another gold star coming up here, our 3-star, Linda Jefferson from GoArmyHomes. Linda, welcome back.
Hi, how are you, Sandra? Hi, Robin.
Hi there. Welcome.
So, all right, you're calling in from Oklahoma. I just had to say that because I just love saying that.
Oklahoma, I love it.
So you own a company called GoArmyHomes. We've had a couple of your representatives on, and I'd like you to share with our listeners how that company came about first.
Well, it started when I saw my son and daughter-in-law and my grandbaby have to move to their first duty station. Actually, my son was moving, my daughter-in-law, my grandbaby wasn't here yet. But he called and said, hey, Mom, I only have 3 more days to find a place to stay. And I said, what do you mean? You've only been there a week. Now, I was a seasoned realtor and should have known better. I'm right here in a military location, but, naive. I was very naive to what happens. And he said, no, we have 10 days. And I said, is that because you're new? He said, no, everyone has 10 days. And that's when a light bulb went off, and I said, we've got to change the way we take care of these guys when they're moving from one location to another. There's got to be a better system. And, they need to be able to look before they move. If they've only got 10 days, that's not a lot of ground time. They need to have ideas of where they want to go to, what they're looking for, and be able to communicate with a real estate agent in a location before they even get there. And so that's kind of where this came about, was to help my son, but to help other military families make that a smooth transition.
That's so hard. It's so hard when, it's part of military life and we all accept that moving is part of it. But there's so much that goes along with it, Linda, and you've been helping military families and you are a military family yourself for many years. What do you think are the greatest challenges that a young couple go through? And how do you think, as a parent, you're also a parent, how can we support our military children as they transition from PCS station to PCS station?
A lot of times these guys are coming from overseas. That's a tough challenge all in its own. So it's important as a family to be in contact with someone local to get some balls rolling for them and have a game plan of where they're going to go, what they're going to do. Our company was designed with the intent that if they needed to know what school districts they were going to be in, they needed to know best places of worship, how close they are to the post. That's where we come in. We want to be your eyes and ears for the new community you're coming to. We want you to be as familiar with your new community as you were with your old community. And so the best way we can support them is to start doing your research early. As soon as they have their orders, we have guys that get on our website, 6 months in advance. Okay, we've got orders to go to Fort Sill, or we've got orders to go to, Fort Campbell, wherever that is, and they get on the internet and they immediately start searching for good, clean, suitable housing. We'd like you to not have to fly. We'll do all the legwork for you. So when you walk into our office, we want you to be prepared. Just finished up with a couple that got here from Vilseck, Germany. Just got in. We had everything done. Their lease was completed. All we had to do was give them the keys, walk through with them, and she said, it was exactly the way you described it to me. It was exactly what we were looking for. And we had their utilities turned on. We already had their information. Everything was done, ready, and that was just a rental. And they've sent us several other people that are coming from the area, and that's how we work. We want to be your eyes and ears here so that you can save that 10 days. Take that 10 days that they pay you for and spend it getting settled in, get household goods moving, those type things. Have everything ready to go. And it takes the stress out of those only 10 days you have before you report in.
This is so ingenious, and you'd think this would have been done before, but you were sort of the premier person to really take this on and really make it fly. I noticed that you have more and more bases that you're covering all the time.
Yeah, and our anticipation is we want to be in all U.S. post locations soon. That's our goal. And every company that comes on board with us has to have the same vision I do, the same ideas. They have to take care of their customers the same way. I'm always amazed when we take on some of the new companies that they're just like I was. They've serviced that military community for years and years. That's been their bread and butter, but yet they never took the time to know what their parameters are, what is their BAH, what do they make, what ranges do they need to be in. No one's ever taken the time to figure out what these guys are actually going through. We all say we know, but to actually know, it's amazing to me when I hear a company say, I didn't know, and I always think I was there too, and that's our job, is to educate each one of these locations. Rentals are very hard. When the military moves, 9 times out of 10, they don't think they want to buy. Interest rates are great right now, however, but they don't automatically think that. It's a rental market, and so often they're shoved off to a rental department that does no more than hand them a set of keys and good luck to you. So they don't know the areas that they're going to. They're not sure whether that's an area that meets their family's needs. And so we want to make sure that before you start looking, you know what areas fit within your military family's lifestyle.
Well, and it's so hard, Linda, because, especially when our families are new, they're new to the military, might be their first PCS move. We've had some moms on the show. I remember the one Air Force mom that had moved 19 times in a 20-year marriage. And there's so much to know. And, we all know the funny stories about, packing up the military movers coming and packing up the garbage, because, their orders are, pack up, and by God, they pack up your garbage. And, but it's really hard. What would your best advice be to someone who is moving for the first time with the military? Is there anything on GoArmyHomes that can help the first-time PCS move?
Absolutely. Under our resources, there is what is called a PCS check sheet, checklist, and it was designed by a lady who had 22 PCS moves under her belt, with and without children. And she designed this and it starts from, Sandra, I'm not sure, but I think it's 6 months out from the time you get your orders, what to start doing. And you just go down that checklist. There's things that people forget to think about. Kids' shot records, their school transcripts. Those are fairly easy, but what about those cans of paint that you can't just throw in the trash? There's a whole lot of organization that has to go on. Even though the military comes and packs you up, you need to be prepared before they get there. And, that check sheet is amazing. Everyone that's used it says, we know this. Even people who are seasoned in this say, we know this information, but we forget. If you're there for 2 or 3 years, you become accustomed to making the moves, but you forget about the little things. And that's what this checklist is designed for, to help you remember the little things.
It is. I mean, the little things, it might be something that it never even occurred to somebody. I know there's big issues, when people are moving with pets, when you're moving with kids. I mean, it's all so difficult, especially like the more kids you put in. There's got to be sometimes that people come to you. I know my military friends, they have a kid in elementary school. They can have a kid in, kindergarten, and then a high school student, and then somebody that's just starting college. And that's a tough family to move.
Yes, because sometimes the elementary school doesn't jive with the middle school and the high school, so that's why it's very important that you get with someone early, someone who's willing to take the time to let you know, okay, this is how this elementary school district is, along with the middle school and the high school, and make sure that everything within that district services your family's needs, because you're absolutely right. You may have everyone ranging in your same family from elementary all the way through high school. Well, just because the elementary school is fabulous doesn't mean that the high school is exactly what's best for your high school student. Sometimes and the thing I tell most every family as well, a lot of it is that these teachers, no matter where you go, and this is completely off subject, but no matter where you go, it's a lot of, they want to know, those teachers want to know that there's a family behind that student. So make your presence known. And that's true about our community. Not to say that there's any child that's not taken care of, but I do know that when I walk in the door, they know who I am, because they know I'm going to be there anytime there's a question. So,
Linda Jefferson, you are a wealth, and we appreciate all that you've done to develop this site. It is GoArmyHomes.com, and it's certainly a to-go place when you have a PCS move on your horizon. Thanks, Linda, so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Next week, we have invited Marcella Stretch from the Parents of Deployed Service Members Facebook group to join us again. We love it when she's with us. And we also have Autumn Arnold, diet and fitness coach. She always has some wonderful ideas, tips, and just good common sense for all of us who are on the move and busy lifestyles that we have. For Sandra Beck and Military Mom Talk Radio, this is Robin Boyd signing off, wishing you all a great week and looking forward to seeing you next week. Bye now.